Hey guys, welcome back to my channel, Down the Rabbit Hole News. I am the Rabbit. Guys, thank you so much for being here. Thank you for supporting my channel and hitting that like button, sharing, subscribing, doing all those great things that help support creators on YouTube. Thank you. All right, so let me tell you what happened. I actually had the opportunity to review some of my Julia Wandelt Faustyna content from 2023. Now, to give you guys a little bit more of a timeline, this story broke literally mid February of 2023, so almost 2 years ago at this point. In the first story, I remember was one, it went viral over a video that she did. And so, of course, a lot of people wanted to understand what the ins and outs of the story. I know that this specific situation also broke on TikTok. It became huge. There were many people that had so many things to say about this. It went internationally as far as Julia's I Am Madeleine McCann account and videos. All of that went viral. Okay. While I've had this opportunity to review the content that I've done on this, I have counted at least 27 total videos that I've done on this topic, some of which have also been put on private because when Julia apologized to the McCanns, she received a lot of bullying from folks online, and I didn't want to keep that up there. I didn't want her to get bullied, right? So I put some videos on private. Some of them were on private at that time. Now, somebody let me know of a creator here who I had talked about before because of her interaction in the Madeleine McCann case. Her name, she's an actual journalist, and her name is Sonia Poulton. Okay, she's an actual journalist. She did a video that somebody in the comments let me know, hey, you should really look into this video. And I said, all right, I'm going to. And I'm gonna tell you, I'm a little like taken back by the things that were said here, and I wanted to share it. I'm going to give commentary to the video, of course, under fair use. I have tagged her in the description box. Please go check her out. Go show her some love. She's a reputable journalist that definitely can speak to different things that she's encountered. Now, let's get into it.
Woman who claims to be Madeleine McCann. She was arrested at Bristol Airport on Wednesday and has now been charged with 4 counts of stalking to alarm and distress Kate and Jerry McCann. It's a live case, so I can't comment on that, but I can talk about what we publicly know.
One of the things I did not know that was a surprise to me, because like I said, once Julia Faustina Wendell apologized to the McCann publicly, I really just walked away from the story overall. I did not know that in 2024 she had gone to the UK. She'd gone to their home. She was, having recorded calls. She was contacting the children. I didn't know that she had gone to this extent. And that to me sounds like a very concerning and yet scary situation. I don't know. Like, I have some folks in the comments that just want Julia to find out who she is. And although I can agree to a certain extent, I don't agree with the harassing and stalking of these people are saying that they don't know her, that that's not their daughter. And so people, the theme of the comments have always been, well, why don't they just do a DNA test and shut it down? Do a DNA test and shut it down. I can't speak for the McCanns, but I also don't put a lot of ownership on them, because if she's seeking to find out if she is their daughter, okay, then I think that the best way to do this would be for her to seek some level of court intervention with. It's been said multiple times that, based on her ancestry, that there is no way that she's related to the McCanns, but for whatever reason, the story has not shut down and it's continued. Now, one thing I did do, and I want to speak out now about this, is that I did misspeak on a part in a recent live. I said that they had done GoFundMe's on this, and that is inaccurate. Now, there was a funding source. There was a Go Get funding that was called Help for Julia Wandelt. And I remember her promoting this after she had fallen out with Thea Johansson. After all that, after she came back to Poland, leaving the United States, she decided to do a Go Get funding. Okay, the page is still actively up, all right? Let me share it with you guys. This is it, and I mean, this is what we found. This is was started by her, okay? And it says, "Hi, I'm creating this fundraiser to help myself. Many people told me that I should do this, but I refused because I didn't want to make people saying that I'm a liar or just a bad person, but I decided to ask you for help and I need your help. I understand the media frenzy surrounding this has been hectic, overwhelming for everyone. It has also been awfully overwhelming time for me. I'm 21 years old. To remember when she went viral, she was about 21. Okay, so that's how old this is. I've been through a lot in my young life over the past few years. I was coerced into going to the US, in return, isolating me from everything around me. Whilst over there, went through a tough time, which in return resulted in me even being more isolated and distrusting of others. Now I'm at home in Poland and I'm trying to return to somewhat of a normal life with my boyfriend and my lovely cat, Monte. I'm being met with vicious, untrue statements and outright lies pertaining to my character. I need to get back on my feet and I need to be able to get myself to a place where I can return to the workforce and thrive in a career I choose. In order to do that, I need support around me, such as lawyers and professionals. Most importantly, I really want to be happy and safe and work through all I was subjected to in youth and young adult. Alongside this, while in the States, I felt a reality shift in what I'm most passionate about in life. I want to help people, possibly go back to school. Getting me back on my feet will be the beginning of this. Many people want to know how to help. I have reached out to do so. I was declining offers and not wanting to take people's money, but many people wrote me and said that creating this would be very helpful for me. Hopefully I could start working towards getting me on my feet where I can then make certain decisions in my life. I may choose to retain some legal advice, which of course is not cost which of course is costly. Every little helps and I will be so genuinely appreciated. Support and help I have received over the past few days has been overwhelming and beautiful. I'm so extremely grateful for each person who has reached out. And from this campaign, I believe it was just what, £10 that she reached. But there was, although I misspoke on the initial GoFundMe, she did create a website after the fallout with Via and after having to come back to the US over this situation. Just wanted to correct myself. There was no GoFundMe on this. I found in my reviewing on some of the videos that I did, I found that that people were starting GoFundMe's under her name and taking money, and those were fraudulent GoFundMe's. So I apologize for that, but I did go back and review where I got that information from to make sense as to why I said that. That being said, though, that doesn't mean that there is no benefit from this situation. If, in my opinion, I don't feel like she's Madeleine. And so what she's getting from here is attention. Attention seeking behavior online is a dangerous drug. Okay. So even though it may not necessarily be monetary to a certain extent, because I'm also hearing that people are donating for her to go travel and, find out things and whatever. I have to question, like, all right, then what is the other reward from this? Oh, it's attention seeking. It's always been attention seeking. To go as far as she has done, it's attention seeking.
I knew this was coming. Yes, I did. It was only a matter of time before the British police got involved because Julia is absolutely insistent that she is Madeleine. But then Julia has also been insistent that she is at least 3 other missing girls as well. Leicestershire Police.
Now, this, my friends, I did know. I remember when I covered this case, Julia was saying she had previously said that she was these 2 other missing persons. Okay, so oh man, there was a Facebook group, and I'll put the clip in here of when I talked about this. Dear friends, we were not going to comment on Poland, who claims to be missing Madeleine McCann, but circumstances force us to do so. Such stories always arouse great emotion, not only among readers, but also among families affected by the situation. After the information appeared on the website, we associated that Miss Julia Faustyna contacted
our, and not only our website, 1.5 months ago. The woman asks for help because she's convinced she is a missing child. She had some doubts about her origins due to family misunderstandings. However, at the moment, the woman compared her appearance to Abasia Bishop, a girl who went missing in 2003. She also sent us her childhood photos. However, at the moment, she informs in her media releases that she does not have such photographs, which also raises her suspicions. Because the woman is of age, she asks about the procedures for a DNA test and whether the police can refuse to do it.
There was a Facebook group where Julia was meeting up with a friend and having conversations with a friend, and all of this was in Polish, where she was seen like planning to release these photos that she has now out there, where she's created the eye and the matching with Jerry and Kate McCann, right? She was essentially running these photos by somebody else to help her put these up online in order to push the agenda that she is Maddie McCann. But she had basically said that she was two other missing children before. So this right here is not new. This is why I said, this is why I told you guys that this behavior, this is a pattern of behavior that has happened way before Maddie McCann. There were two other missing persons that she had claimed to be. And I'm so glad that she's saying this, because when I saw this video, I was in shock that she even put those names out there, because I mean, I knew about it because I had talked about it years ago, clearly, and I just coming back to me. But this right here, Sonia has definitely done her research to let us know what these two other names were of these other missing persons. Okay.
Of this. Look at the details. And I said, well, who helped her make, that was my question. Who helped her make some of these collages? Putting things together, all this other stuff, the smiles, all of this. Who did this? This takes time to do. Who did this? Who did this? An investigator that actually worked in the, he's like an investigative journalist, okay? He worked on the Madeleine McCann story. Somebody reached out to him. His name is Martin Case, okay? And if you Google search Martin Case, Madeleine McCann, his photo comes up, everything comes up. He's a like a security consultant, investigative journalist, okay? He actually did some commentary when the documentary of Madeleine McCann. Somebody reached out to him. We got a statement from Mr. Martin Case, who was somebody that was working on this case at some point in time, all right? And I'm going to read it to you because I know it's a little blurry. But somebody by the name of Caroline reached out to him and said, he says, "Hey, Caroline, thank you for getting in touch. Although I've worked on Madeleine's case for many years, I haven't seen Julia's concerns about her own past. Whilst Julia could possibly be a victim of trafficking, I can see straight away that she isn't Madeleine McCann. The discoloration in Julia's eye is due to variations in the pigmentation of her iris, similar to a freckle, and the larger of them is oriented to the 6 o'clock position. Madeleine's eye condition is very different. She has a colomboma, colomboma, which is a condition where a section of the iris is missing, in effect giving a keyhole shape pupil, and it is oriented at the 7 o'clock position. She says, I've seen this on Instagram but couldn't comment. I have not received any emails about it. She's one of the many who claim to be Madeleine, and while I don't believe she is, I do believe she could be trafficked. If you can contact her, feel free to give her my email. I'll see what I can do to help her." And somebody said, "Thank you for the information." Now, the thing about Madeleine condition is that it's not something that is operable. You can't just remove what is wrong with Maddie's eye. It's not the condition that on Maddie's eye. It's not something that just, okay, we're going to go and remove it or have an operation for her. Even the information that she's provided just doesn't make sense. They're not the same age. Julia has been employed before. You'd need a birth certificate or an ID or something to be able to hold employment, right? She says she doesn't remember and her family does not answer any questions. That's what she has said.
Have said in a statement that 2 women were arrested at Bristol Airport, but now, of course, we've just heard in the last few minutes that Julia has been charged. She has a pattern of claiming she's missing girls, and a number of girls, including missing German schoolgirl Inga Garrick. She later claimed to be missing Acacia Bishop. This is a pattern for her. Absolutely, it is. Julia was back in legacy media this week, by the way, making outlandish claims that she shares Madeleine's DNA, but it's a lie. And thank you to Pro Truth for MBM on.
Now, if you guys know the names of those accounts, because I was trying to find out who they were, Pro Truth or something like that, and I was looking at her transcript to figure out the exact name in her description box, and I didn't see the links to them.
Social media, MBM being Madeleine Beth McCann. I love that account. That account is unrelenting in calling out the lies around Madeleine McCann, because many of us are invested in getting to the truth of what happened to Madeleine McCann. And when you have somebody, an actor like Julia, who has claimed to be several other missing people, it kind of irks those of us like myself, like the Only Cans podcasters, like MBM on social media. It irks us because we know that the high chance is that poor Madeleine Beth McCann never left apartment 5A. And so when you have a charlatan out there who knows she is not Madeleine Beth McCann, here she is, by the way, with her actual mother, who is not Kate McCann. There's Julia with her actual mother. I think they look alike, frankly. I think they look very, very alike.
And of course, conveniently, these were photos that Mom released and Julia would not. Now, in this video, I'm going to add other things that I found as well back when I was looking into this. I'm going to add the interview that I've had on private. There's things that I've had on private solely because I was concerned for Julia being bullied and something like that. But some of the stuff is already public information, so we might as well just release it. I think these are parts that are, in my opinion, important to talk about, right? Because everybody's so busy in saying that, why don't the McCanns do a DNA test? Well, one of the things that the family said, Julia's family said, was that, why don't you determine if you're our child through you and I testing, through the family and Julia testing? And she speaks for the family, and she takes advantage of that because the family won't publicly speak out on this anymore. They made a post. They have shared information with the Polish media. They're not going to go back and forth on this to be further crucified about allegations that she is making.
This is where the family statement is at. And shout out to the person that messaged me on this, okay? It says, statement. We would like to take a stance on Julia's case, which has spread the internet and media in many countries in recent days. For us, as a family, it is obvious that Julia is our daughter, granddaughter, sister, niece, cousin, and step-niece. We have memories, we have pictures. Julia also has these photos because she took them from the family home with the birth certificate, as well as numerous hospital discharges. We always try to understand all situations that happen with Julia. Numerous therapies, medicine, psychologists, psychiatrists. Julia, I think it's Julka, that's how they put it in here, had it all guaranteed. She wasn't left alone. Threats to our address from Julia, her lies and manipulation, activity on the internet, we've seen it all. We've tried to prevent it, to explain. We've asked her to stop. We always try to help her get her back on her feet. Julia has been of age for several years. Lord, what do you mean for several years? She has moved out of the house, refuses treatment, doesn't take medicines regularly. She also did not take advantage of the treatment opportunity at a very good center in Poland, which agreed to accept her. Julia once wanted to be a singer, a model. She always wanted to be popular. What's happening now, she got 1 million followers, which she does on her I Am Madeleine McCann IG page. We're afraid Julia will carry the inevitable. The internet won't forget, and it is obvious that Julia isn't Maddie. We are devastated at this current situation. At the same time, we would like to announce that we will not do interviews, publish any photos, comment on articles. Please direct any questions or concerns to the spokesperson of the Provincial Police Command in Warkla, who is conducting proceedings in Julia's case and to whom we have provided all necessary evidence in that case. The family of Julia W.
But like I said, some of you guys have left me some interesting comments, okay? So like somebody said in my comments, Julia hasn't made a dime. Her GoFundMe was denied. She just wants to know who she is. She had a horrendous childhood involving essay. Be kind. So this is what this person said. Again, I always get these comments about you didn't do your research, you don't know what you're talking about. Be kind. Just telling me what I did and didn't do. And I sit here and I'm just like, okay, so because my narrative doesn't match yours, somehow that means that A, I'm not being kind, and B, that I haven't done my research, which if your research is only one YouTube channel or it's only one thing, like I'm just trying to understand what your sources are. But hey, whatever. Somebody said in the comments, I don't understand why the McCanns don't want a DNA. They don't want to know if she's alive or dead for sure, unless they truly know Maddie is dead. And I would have to say, I think that I don't want to speak for the McCanns because I can't, but I feel like they know that Maddie's no longer here. And I think that that has been the sense from a lot of people. Keep in mind that when this story broke, Julia was 21 or 21 to 22, and Maddie McCann would have been 19 at that time. The ages do not match. Okay. So, yeah. Somebody said in my comments, Julia doesn't claim to be Madeleine. Well, I kind of have to push back on that because when she started this situation, she did a viral video, and her account's name was I am Madeleine McCann. Now, in the viral video, I believe she said, I think I am Maddie. And then that's how she started. And then she kept pushing. Okay. So whether she thinks or she doesn't think, she heavily implied it. The only reason why people are looking at this story now is because people think she's Maddie McCann, and I think that that's the investment. And people have said it in my comments too. I think it's Maddie. It's if it's not Maddie, it's a Jerry McCann love child because of this 69.23% whatever DNA thing. I don't know. What I do know is that Julia's a liar and Julia lies, and she has done it before. Okay, so they further say the mom won't do a DNA test. She never apologized. She did apologize to the McCanns. Your information is incorrect and comes from mainstream media, which is full of untruths. Okay, so although I agree that mainstream media is very untruthful about things that they put out there, I also think that YouTubers can be untruthful. A lot of people can be untruthful. People lie, right? The media lies, YouTubers lie, people lie. So with that being said is even though the mainstream media lies, you would have had to have relied on the mainstream media or on YouTubers to find out about this situation, right? Taking what is being said as truth. What I've noticed a lot, and this is just my opinion, is that people tend to play on our emotions when it comes to things like this. This Maddie McCann story was international, just like John Benet Ramsey and just like many others, right? And they play on our heartstrings. And I think that's what's happening here. But it's possible that Julia is not being truthful here. It's possible that she has not been truthful. It's very possible. And to say that the mainstream media, if that's where I'm getting my information from, well, you're getting your information from YouTubers. What does that say? Is every YouTuber telling the truth? No, right? So like, it's like what kind of an argument is that? Anyways, then they further say do some real homework if you want to report some real journalism work is required. Well, Sonia is a journalist and she has a YouTube channel and she's giving commentary to this. Maybe her word might be more valuable, So Shout out to her. Make sure you guys check out her channel. It's in the description box.
And of course, as I say, I have to be incredibly careful now what I have to say now that the charges happen. So I can't say all the things that I really wanted to originally say here. But just to say that this whole nonsense about DNA, people are literally misleading the public, right? It would appear that Julia and podcasters who support her are misrepresenting what she has been told. It's also important to understand that we are not dealing with science here. Julia has been known to use Chat GPT to analyze DNA. Okay. And the thing is, as many people have pointed out, right?
This is interesting because she says that Julia uses Chat GPT, right? Very early on, one of the questions that I had, and I told you guys that there was a Facebook group that started when this story broke. And in this Facebook group, the person that helped Julia put the I Am Madeleine McCann story out there spoke out. And they were sharing Polish text messages. And you could see in those messages that Julia was sending to this person that they were putting like pictures together, you know, and making the eye picture and everything to figure out like, you know, if it was a plausible story to put out. So Julia kind of fixed this whole situation with another person to put it out on social media. So this whole thing about Chat GPT doesn't surprise me whatsoever, because when she first told this story, she was doing things like this to basically, you know, let everybody know she thought she was Madeleine McCann.
That Jerry McCann's DNA is not available to the public. Julia said a hair saliva sample from the crime scene belongs to Jerry and was tested that DNA matched Julia. It's not available to the public. You're a liar. And let us not forget that Madeleine did indeed leave behind DNA in the apartment, in a hire car, on her toys, etc. The dogs detected it. Dogs don't lie. Those were highly qualified dogs. That is the reality. And why won't people keep going on? Why won't Kate and Jerry give a DNA test? Is to me the most illuminating thing about all of this madness, right? They won't, because they know it can't possibly be Madeleine, because that would be beyond a miracle.
How many people, y'all, you guys in my chat have said to me, why don't they just do the DNA? They're hiding something. And I have to ask you guys a question. What is doing a DNA going to prove at this point? Like, I want you to ask yourselves, are we trying to solve the Madeleine McCann case through a DNA test of a woman who factually isn't related, isn't her? Or is the DNA important for what exactly? Like, ask yourselves that question. Why is the DNA important? Is it because you believe that it's her and therefore you feel like it needs to be done? Why is the DNA important? Well, what are the actual factual needs for it? Because by age and what's been already put out there, this is not Madeleine. So what's the purpose of testing someone who we already know is not her? Let me know what you guys think.
That would mean bringing her back to life. Yes, I said it. Yes, I said it. Julia is, in fact, the privately educated daughter of wealthy middle-class parents from Poland. She has a near 100% Polish heritage, zero British or even German ancestry, actually. She was on Dr. Phil's show in March 2023, and she told Phil McGraw that her mother had refused to show her proof of pregnancy and birth, which her family denied, saying it's obvious that Julia isn't Maddie, in a statement to the show. Julia then, we were told, apologized to the McCanns, but carried on appearing on podcasts with people who I consider to be exploiters.
Family has talked to Julia. They have messaged her. They have done Facebook posts.
And she said, I apologize to McCanns because I don't know them personally. I don't know if they were watching this journey, if they were sad or whatever. And I just want to say sorry, because every person can react in a different way. And maybe it brought them more sadness, she said. Well, it didn't stop her.
For those that have said, what, you know, she never apologized to McCann's. Well, that was a statement. And if your argument is going to be, well, that's in the mainstream media, they could have X, Y, and Z. So she did apologize. She recanted it too. Like, what are we arguing here? I feel like we're arguing with semantics. Either you believe that she's not or she isn't. And if you believe that she is, well, then I guess that's on you. And you're not going to be convinced by me. Just letting you know what's already been done out there to basically disprove her claim.
Julia is, in my opinion and experience, a disturbed young woman who needs serious psychological help and not to be exploited online. But she's more. She's a former sex worker who advertised her services on social media. And now, thanks, as I say, to the research skills of many people, including MBM on X, she's an actress too. I further found a YouTube channel for her from 2017 in which she claims to be a singer-songwriter. What she absolutely is not is mad.
And that was something that I found in when the story broke, that she was into acting, singing. What a way to promote herself. And even after she apologized, she continued with her page, and she was always singing. That's what she wanted to do. Yeah.
Madeleine McCann. That is reality. She's been heavily promoted, I call it exploited, by a former colleague of mine, Sean Atwood. And according to a colleague of mine who watched Sean and his sidekick...
I didn't even know they were colleagues, but former colleagues, excuse me. There's some things I didn't even know. She makes statements here, and I mean, I don't know if Sean has clarified that or what he has addressed. I really try not to get in the mix.
Ron on Wednesday night during the arrest, they were showing serious signs of having got it very wrong, and Sean was even said to be on the verge of going to rescue her in Bristol. I hope not, because the last time Sean Atwood rescued someone, it ended up with me being pulled into his messy and problematic drama. Anyone remember Daddygate? Callie Diamond, a former trafficked victim that...
I don't even know what Daddygate is. Now, when I went into her description box, I said, well, let me look at her timestamps. And she put in here, Sean Atwood admitted to me that he had taken nude photos of a trafficked victim. Video here. My goodness.
Sean had repeatedly on his show and raised funds for her to get a place to live. And Julia Wandelt has also been raising funds via Sean's channel as well.
Oh, yeah.
Unfortunately, it would appear that Sean didn't learn from the first time around, and he's determined to continue down this very dark path of misinformation. And people have been tagging me in, so I am forced once again to address my brief involvement with Sean Atwood and why it ended. During a live interview with him, I found out he had been taking sex photos of Callie Diamond. That was the name that she used, although that wasn't actually her real name. Her real name is Jennifer Brearley. Some absolute nonsense that it had been a hoax to outwit a troll. But the person he was talking about was not a troll at all, but someone who realized that Sean Atwood was not who he claimed to be. There was a video with Sean and Callie. Callie was on her knees before Sean. She was getting ready to pleasure him. Sean was dressed up as a little girl in the video. Callie called him daddy. All of this was with my co-host of a man who claimed to be fighting against child abuse. I was horrified.
So this is a former colleague, okay? All right. And she was a traffic victim. And I mean, Julia is in that industry.
Horrified. And then he pretended that it was a hoax, it was a joke. All of this was happening. It was supposed to be a joke while I was working with him. And we were supposed to be fighting exploitation of children and women, but he was part of the problem. So I did a live interview with him, during which time he made shocking confessions about his actions, including the segment I'm about to play you.
What Sonia shows on that segment is pretty damn disturbing, and I would suggest that you guys go watch it. I'm going to link the whole video in the description box because I'm using it under fair use, but I didn't want to play that part. Ultimately, I will say that what is being said there is very, very disturbing. It's a clip from 2020, and it raises a little bit of concerns for intent as far as platforming someone like Julia or others that have been platformed with just the allegations that they have made and very minimal research or pushback to be given to that guess. If it's what the audience wants, I guess then that would be one thing, right? That a specific core audience wants misinformation or allegations or just a bunch of theories. And although I'm one to entertain a little bit of everything, where you have to sit back and wonder, to what extent is this going? Madeleine McCann, in my opinion, and it sounds like it's Sonia and others, is no longer here. Julia has used Madeleine McCann's name to further her agenda, whether it's to pretend to be her or say that it's her but not really, or she might be a sibling. How long is that going to keep going? It makes you wonder. Check out Sonia and see what she has to say.
It's not a new thing. There is more I could say about Sean Atwood, but I won't right now. I have a legal case that involves his podcast, and I was under police investigation for 6 months after appearing on his podcast. In 30 years, I have never encountered this level of trouble in my career until I made the mistake of teaming up with Atwood for a short period of time.
So is that investigation still ongoing? Oh my God. Oh my God. Y'all.
And so Julia Wandelt is not Madeleine, and Atwood doesn't care either way, but I do. And he made a podcast saying Madeleine was 100% alive. It's fraud. It's absolute fraud. This Julia is not Madeleine, but this former criminal, Sean Atwood, and a former sex worker have come together to fool the public. And because the Madeleine story matters to me, I am forced to speak up.
So clearly she has a history. I was not aware of that, of all the things that she put out there. And I was watching it and I said, oh man, I'm going to have to talk about this with everybody. You guys are going to support whoever the hell you want to. I'm not here to tell you otherwise, but I came across this because a subscriber sent this to me and said, you need to, it was in the comments, you need to check this out. So her name is Sonia Poulton, and I've linked her channel in the description box. Clearly she has a history with that other creator that is, different from, what I've had. I've never been on his channel. His associate came to my channel, and so did Ron, right? And everything was fine, but I didn't know all of this. In my opinion, it does seem like this has become, a bit of like, watch and see what new developments. And now she's arrested. She's been arrested. She's got stalking charges on her. I mean, like I said, I didn't even know that she had gone to the property. Like, that's how far she went. It shouldn't surprise me because, the fact that she flew, from Poland to California and did all what she did and then got the backlash that she got. And at least for me, I thought this situation had ended. Another person that I want to introduce to this commentary, and this is somebody who followed this very closely. I had her on my channel. The channel name is Recaps with Julie. Recaps with Julie is a sweetheart. You guys check her out. Amazing. She does a lot of breakdowns and true crime, celebrity, different areas and whatnot. But she was somebody that I met through the process of all of this because of just how everything went down. We talked about Fia Johansson and her role in this situation. Recaps with Julie has really recapped the situation, I think, fairly well from why we're at present time. So under fair use, of course, I'm going to give some commentary to some of the things that she said, some of which we've already covered. But, she's really good at just breaking it down, which I need to get better at that. Shout out to Julie. If you're watching this, check her out.
Madeleine McCann's imposter is back again. Julia Wandelt has restarted her account that gained millions of followers last year by pretending to be the young missing girl. Julia took everyone on quite the adventure last year while everyone waited for her to take a DNA test. When she finally took this test, she took it in California with Fia Johansson. They recorded every step of recovering the DNA, sent it in, and the results were soon revealed. At the time, Julia was 21 years old and Madeleine McCann would have been 19. Julia tried to excuse this away, however, by saying that her mother lied about her birth certificate age. Now, the results came back saying that she had a small percentage of Lithuanian and Russian, but the test results revealed that she was almost 100% from Poland, which of course Madeleine McCann is not. This whole situation with Julia had become quite a spectacle, and people were actually wondering if Kate and Jerry McCann would come out with a statement once Julia received her DNA results. They didn't at first, but they did eventually release a small statement, and all they said was, there isn't anything to report at this time. If and when there is, it will come from the Metropolitan Police. Over the past year, it did appear that Julia may have been getting better mentally. She had reached out to her mother and apologized for everything. She had also apologized to the McCanns and done an interview where she claimed she was sorry for what she had done.
Eventually, a DNA test showed Julia was Polish. She stepped away from her account and she apologized to the McCanns. Social media can destroy you. That's the lesson Julia's learnt. If you were doing it again, what would you do differently?
I think I wouldn't go to social media because it can influence you in a bad way, and it wasn't a good idea.
Unfortunately, this did not last long, and it appears she is spiraling again. Now she's claiming that the DNA test she did with Fia, which proves she was Polish, is fake, even though it was recorded the whole step of the way and we as viewers watched it all. Julia is now claiming to have done her own DNA testing, which no one has seen the official results of or anything that looks official in the least. But she says that she had this test done, and she claims she took a piece of that testing and a piece of Madeleine McCann's DNA, which she has gotten somewhere, and sent it to her self-proclaimed expert on DNA test reading. Now, this supposed expert supposedly looked at these two DNA results.
Where did she get a piece of Madeline's DNA? That's the question that I have, but okay.
And claimed that she was not Madeleine McCann, but that she could possibly be a sibling.
So Julia had tests done first time properly, and it's come back that she's not Madeleine McCann, but the tester believes that the linkage, the pattern that's emerging, is not a random pattern, and it looks like there is certainly a family connection. It could be a parent, child, or sibling. How do you feel?
I felt so excited, but also, I mean, I have a few theories why it came as a parent, child, or sibling.
It appears Julia did not like the response she got from this so-called expert's email, saying that she is not Madeleine McCann, but perhaps is related in some way. So she has completely pushed that aside, and she is now stating that there are theories she had as to why this was said, and she is, in fact, Madeleine McCann. One of the main things Julia likes to say is that her parents refused to do DNA tests with her. Now, her mother has spoken to numerous influencers over the last year and said that Julia has mental health issues and that she had agreed to do DNA testing with Julia if it would settle this whole situation, but Julia refused. Julia's family had also posted a statement about the long history Julia has with mental health and the suffering that she's had in the past and that she does not take her medications, etc.
So Julia refused to do the DNA test with her own family after her family had offered. Okay, so then can you guys explain to me why people are saying that her own family won't do a DNA test? Is that her word or is that her family who said it? Keep that in mind, because if you're using her word, she lies. Okay, she lies intentionally.
But it does not seem to make a difference. There are still people that want to believe that Julia is Madeleine McCann. As you can imagine, this whole situation and any situation like this would be extremely hard on the McCann family. Despite this, Julia actually showed up at the anniversary of Madeleine's death to try and speak with the McCann family. Now, she has also been phoning the McCann family and publishing that online for others to hear. The first one she shared is this phone call that she says, "I called Kate, but Jerry picked up the phone. No, Jerry, I didn't call the wrong number."
Hello, who's speaking?
Hello, I'm Julia. Can we talk, please? I don't want to disturb you. I just need to talk with you.
You must have the wrong number.
No, I know your voice, Jerry.
The second phone call she made to the McCann residence was this one, saying, "Why did Kate finish the call after I asked her if she could do a DNA test with me?"
Hello?
Could you please do the DNA test with me? Please, I never lied.
Julia has also contacted the police numerous times about this, including contacting Operation Grange. Now, Operation Grange is the department that is in charge of the missing case for Madeleine McCann. After she had attended the anniversary of Madeleine McCann and tried to speak with her family, the police ended up contacting Julia. Now, it was a member of Operation Grange, and this is what he had to say.
I'm a police officer from the Metropolitan Police.
Okay.
And I work on Operation Grange, the Madeleine McCann case.
Okay.
And we actually spoke, my name's Mark, we actually spoke a number of years ago.
Yes, 2022.
Yeah, you rang me when you were in
This story first went viral in 2023, so she had been keeping this on since 2022, okay?
In a hospital. So yeah, so I told you back then that you weren't Madeleine McCann. I'm obviously aware you went to Leicester, to Rothley at the anniversary, and you also went to Charing Cross Police Station.
That's true.
So obviously we have been following everything. We know everything that's gone on with you. All I'm going to say is what I said back in 2022. You were not Madeleine McCann, okay? I know that's hard to hear, and I know you've been told this by many people, but you have to remember we've worked on this investigation for since 2011.
So that officer had also spoken to Julia 2 years earlier while Julia was in the hospital dealing with her mental health. At that time, he explained to her she was not Madeleine McCann, and he thought she had understood. Now, despite him reviewing all of that again with her on the phone, she continued to ask about the DNA.
Did you get results?
Of what, sorry?
Of DNA results?
Oh, we haven't sent the DNA. It's not being tested.
Why?
we can't spend public money on something like that. We know that you are not Madeleine McCann. Okay, as I said.
Okay, so this is the part where a lot of people say, "See, Rabbit, they didn't test it. They didn't test the DNA." Guys, this has already been debunked before. So you want them to retest this DNA again? Again, I ask you, for what is the purpose if logically and if you like look things through, it just doesn't make sense that she would be Madeleine McCann. But okay, y'all are entitled to your opinion.
Said, we are happy, we are satisfied, okay, and this is not just me talking, this is the team that work on this investigation. We are happy and satisfied that you are not Madeleine McCann. You are one of many hundreds of people, I'm going to say hundreds, who think they are Madeleine.
But what are you based on? Like, there was no DNA test.
I can't go into the details, okay? It's an ongoing investigation. You have had treatment over many years for mental health issues.
Yes, I had.
Unfortunately, having mental health issues is not nice. It's not pleasant.
It's not nice, but I'm fine now.
Yeah, okay. If you're fine, then you need to accept that you...
But you didn't do DNA tests.
Despite the officer explaining to Julia that this is an ongoing investigation and he cannot share details about the case with her, she does not let up that she wants her DNA tested with Madeleine McCann. Now, this is despite there being absolutely zero evidence that this woman is Madeleine McCann.
Yeah, but you've got to accept that you've got loving parents and family.
Okay.
They are your family, okay? You are not Kate and Jerry's daughter.
But you don't know this because you didn't compare my DNA with them.
Right, I do know from other investigations that we're not going to compare your DNA. You have to accept, and there's nothing else I can say. I know there's nothing else I can say that will change your mind. And it's very hard to explain how investigations work, but we are extremely experienced in this. You are not the first person. You won't be the last person who says they are Madeleine McCann. Okay?
It's about that you have no proofs against me, like nothing that would say that I am or I'm not.
There's no facts at all to say you're Madeleine. Okay? There's no evidence. So we go by evidence. There's no evidence to say you're Madeleine. Everything you've said, we have been able to disprove, okay? But we spoke in 2022 and I told you weren't Madeleine and you accepted that. You did, I made notes and you said, okay.
So again, zero evidence to prove that Julia is Madeleine McCann, but a lot that proves that she's not. Now, Operation Grange obviously would have dug into this. I'm sure they saw her birth certificate, medical records. They would know that she's from Poland, as well as her getting the DNA test that she and Fia had done, showing that she's 100% Polish and Madeleine McCann was not. Julia sadly has a long history of mental illness. Her parents are both tried to step in and help, but she is an adult and does what she wants. Now, the police officer also tries to give her some advice in this next clip about what harassment is and that she needs to leave the McCann family alone.
Now, I'm going to finish this call. We're not going to speak to you again, okay? We will not speak to you again. If you ring the British police or you go to Leicester again, they will contact... Any kind of contact will come back to us, okay? We are Operation Grange. It will come back to us. So it's pointless you making any more attempts to contact the British police.
Why?
And also, if you do go to Leicester again and you do, they are fully aware of you now. They know who you are. And if there's offences called harassment here. If you cause any harassment, you could be arrested, okay?
Is it blackmail? If I will go there, I will be... Yes, it is blackmail.
No, harassment's when you annoy someone.
I'm saying that you blackmail me now.
No, I'm not blackmailing.
It looks like, because I don't harass anyone.
I've just given you advice. Now, Julia, I'm really sorry to have to ring you like this.
I will never give up. This is something that I want to tell you.
I know you won't. Okay, but you take care, yeah?
Okay,
take care.
Bye.
Take care, bye-bye.
Despite that warning from the police officer and Julia also being told of the upset this is causing for the McCann family, she continues to post daily. Now, she did share this post a couple days ago saying, "I changed my mind. I can't give up. I felt emotionally damaged yesterday. I found out that Kate and Jerry are emotionally devastated because of my actions too, and I felt bad because of my journey, but I cannot leave it. I cannot give up." And the very next day, she was back to posting pictures of Madeleine McCann, comparing them to herself and saying things like, "Kate and Jerry have never done any DNA tests with me." It's extremely upsetting that Julia suffers from these mental health issues, but the harassment of the McCann family, the fraud and the scams just need to stop.
So the officers had to tell her, like, if you keep this going, this is considered harassment. That's what they had to tell her. And I mean, clearly she hasn't stopped. Like, she's been arrested. She went to court. Matter of fact, I got this little artwork. This is what court looked like. There was an artist there that drew all of this. I don't think that this is going to end very well for her. Shout out to Recaps with Julie, because she's been breaking this down. Like I said, she was one of the ones on TikTok to really break a lot of this down. And then I invited her on my YouTube channel like 2 years ago, and we talked about this whole situation. This was a situation that just, I mean, it just kind of spiraled one thing after another. And it wasn't until she gave her apology to the McCanns that we kind of said, all right, well, I guess that this is where it ends. And now she's in legal trouble, in real legal trouble. And some of you guys might say, well, I still think she's Maddie. That's fine if that's what you believe. But I don't think it's, in my opinion, I think it's wrong to endorse or push for her to go into their home and stalk and harass them when they don't want to be. They want to be left alone. And nobody should be contacting the children or, the adult children. Nobody. It's kind of sad to see that this is where we're at. But let me read a comment that somebody left me on a separate video, not on this topic, but it's a comment that I felt like really resonated with me in a lot of the coverage that I'm currently doing, right? Because I do look at conspiracy theories. I do look at the Hollywood, exposing the industry, and I'm trying to understand like what is healthy and what isn't, right? This is left by a subscriber, hopefully, by the name of Measured Man. Conspiracy theories, a profitable business. What was once dismissed as a fringe thinking has become a full-blown industry. Conspiracy theories are crashing in on misinformation, turning lies into profit, sponsorship, and ads as their platform grows. They secure partnerships with brands and ads that profit from their large, loyal audiences. Paywall content, behind the scenes truth, or exclusive info available only through subscriptions or donations. The world is a stage. Everything happening around us feels like a carefully scripted performance. The twists, turns, and timing are all part of the show. But remember, time is ticking, and the real question is, who is controlling the script? Who's controlling the script? Shout out to the subscriber. Now, some of you guys might say, well, where's the profit? I'm not giving her any money. Well, guys, time is money. What you consume, what you read, what you're ingesting is money too, right? What you're listening to, what you're searching is also money. Once we realize the value of our time, then we realize, yeah, we've given a lot of time to a lot of things. Just like I've given a lot of time to this. Time is money. Guys, let me know what you guys think in the comments about this whole thing. Shout out to Sonia Poulton. I've left her channel in the description box. Recaps with Julie. And shout out to you guys for supporting my channel. I'll see you guys on the next one. Rabbits out. Bye, guys.